time in the land that's not so far away, there was a little girl who sat alone while others played. Cause she had nothing, her parents were always getting high, and so she'd sit up in the room and just wish she would die. The kids all pointed fingers, laughed at her and called her names, until a boy said he liked her from another grade. The typical story, he told her he loved her and that he would always be there, and she was so desperate to feel she was wanted that she didn't think to beware. One night he asked for pictures, and then she started it out, but against a better judgment, she took and texted him out. The next day at school, everyone was giving her looks. The gossip spread up through the halls, and everyone seeing the pictures she took. They called her a slut and told her that she's gonna go to hell, when they were all guilty as she was and everything doing the same thing as well, until she couldn't take the torment of it anymore. The final words of an angel, they all think I'm a whore. We never think about how what it is we say might affect somebody different in a different way, and how the actions we choose and every time we accuse, whether it's fable or truth, can make someone feel abused. Kinda sad when we look around and all we see is just appearance, not the person's personality. We're all the same at the end of the day, and it's a shame because of differences, the prices that some people pay. Up in another school across the country there was a boy who acted like that he just didn't care, and he was kinda different in how he felt inside, so he just stuck to himself and never socialized. He always minded his own and never made a sound, even when the other guys called him a faggot and pushed him around, until one day he told himself, I finally had enough. They're gonna get what's coming to him, I'll show him I'm tough. So he sat in his room and just devised a plan. He knew what he had to do so he could be a man. So he went to his dad's closet and found himself a gun. He said in the note to his parents, I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, your son. The break of the next day, he thought about calling it off, but he convinced himself they won't ever stop if they think that I'm soft. And so in the hall when they found him and started, he opened and showed him his pain. Then he turned the gun on himself and said, I'm free again. We never think about how what it is we say might affect somebody different in a different way, and how the actions we choose and every time we accuse, whether it's fable or truth, can make someone feel abused. Kinda sad when we look around and all we see is just appearance, not the person's personality. We're all the same at the end of the day, and it's a shame because of differences, the prices that some people pay. So many people think that it's just harmless fun, that if they can take it they're weak, and that they deserve to be shunned. Instead of just changing positions, putting themselves in their shoes, living their life for a day, maybe they change up their views. If only they'd understand all of the trials and pain that somebody may just go through each and every day. Maybe they'd see with the words that are seemingly nothing could cut them so deep, and how it just adds to the strain of the hill that they're facing that's already steep. Some of us have it so good, we can't even start to imagine. Whatever they're doing is hoping and praying and wishing and reaching and grasping for something better, just for something to be great, so they can finally fit in, so they can finally relate. And so what might seem like nothing to you and me could turn for someone else from joke to tragedy. If only we'd stop and just think about what we are saying before we just start, then maybe someone who was hurting could ease up the burden inside of their hearts. We never think about how what it is we say might affect somebody different in a different way, and how the actions we choose and every time we accuse, whether it's fable or truth, can make someone feel abused. Kinda sad when we look around and all we see is just appearance, not the person's personality. We're all the same at the end of the day, and it's a shame because of differences, the prices that some people pay. So many lives lost, so many dreams broken, too many lines crossed, so much left unspoken. How many times are we gonna let it happen? Another kid getting bullied before we finally stand and take some action. How many gotta hurt? How many gotta cry? So what's it gonna take? How many gotta die before we see the burden bearing on this generation? Before we unite and stand together as a nation.